And as we were going through my diary, she was asking me, so why do you feel the need to eat this amount of food?
Mm-hmm.
And, um, I don't know, because you have a sandwich, for example, and you finish the sandwich. And she was like, maybe you don't need to finish the sandwich. You can have half the sandwich at tea time and then have the other half, at 10 o'clock, and have the other half at 4 o'clock, or have it for lunch. And I thought, okay. So what that did was it addressed a root cause.
Yes.
So my beliefs around food.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing it addressed was habits.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that in a more global majority setting, we eat for satiety and we eat big portions. Like sometimes I look at people's plates and I'm just like, do you need all of that? Really? Because in my mind, I'm thinking that's a lot of carbs to calculate for.
Yeah.
And I remember someone I follow on social was trying to lose weight. And for their lack of maybe understanding around carbs, they're like, oh yeah, I'm having a low carb meal. And they had a banana, oats, blah, blah, blah. It was all carbs. And I'm thinking, that is not low carb. I don't know where you got that from. So then I thought, okay, how can I sensitize them to that? So they're not diabetic. They were just trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
And they actually took it quite well. So I think it's maybe misinformation around carbs.
Yes.
So from the wrong sources uh, that are not maybe healthcare professions. I find that even nowadays, healthcare professions, it depends. Someone can brand themselves as a healthcare profession, but the kind of information they put out has questionable integrity. So I would say engage your brain too. Like be carry out some due diligence. Who is this person? Do they have any credentials? Do they have things that they, I don't know. And sometimes you might just want to be experimental because people, I for example was having a conversation with someone around how people discovered coffee. I was like, well, I don't know who ate it first. But then maybe you should roast it and then grind it and then boil it. And then, I wonder what the process was for most things, even poisonous things. Uh, yeah, and I suppose sometimes it is the thing that I like about the carbs and carbs is that it shows you a plate. So they map the plate for you, if it's a small plate or a big plate and things like that. So it's a lot more visual for maybe um, the more visual person. But as I said in Daphne in the beginning, they actually advise you to weigh. So you have a weighing scale. I remember once leaving my weighing scale at someone's house that I visited often. And then someone else came along. This is when I was younger. And they said, oh, are you like a weed dealer or something? Why do you have a scale? And I thought, well, I played along with it for a little bit. Then I was like, no, 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 actually, I'm diabetic. But as I said, with Daphne, it's mentally taxing at first, but it gets easier. So you, for example, use the same serving spoon when you're scooping out your stuff. So at some point you'll learn that, okay, 2 scoops of mashed potato or 2 scoops of rice, you roughly know, okay, that's 100 grams, or 200 grams or whatever. And you, as I said, you're a creature of habit, so you eat the same quantities and things like that. So that exercise of writing down, as I said, patterns have been so important.
Yeah.
I was able to, start questioning, why do I need this amount of food? And I realized sometimes it's just fear of going into a hypo.
Mm-hmm.
So you're sort of wanting to feel safe, but doing it in a way that even you don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, actually, no, I don't need to open the crisp packet and eat it all at once. I don't do that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, an example.
Or I don't need to buy a cake and eat it all. So yeah, that was quite insightful.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know if that answered your question. I feel like I have
so you were
not.
saying, so basically, the more carbs, the more insulin now a type 1 would have to use.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think also you were saying earlier, the link between if we eat more carbs than we need, then that gets stored. Then that's how your body goes into fat storing instead of fat burning. So
Mm.
then if we're trying to also manage our weight, like the one you were saying, the person you watched online, we need to understand what low carb means because yeah, people don't realize, and it's education again. People don't realize, bananas, it has sugar, so yeah, and even potatoes. So we want non-starchy veggies, So this is why it's important overall because it will help you to manage your blood sugar levels.
Mm.
And yeah, and so education, I think the theme of what you've been saying is education is so important. And that leads me to this, in the UK anyway, there are these courses that you've attended, and they'll really teach you not just what to eat, but why. And even like with the different methods of cooking, what's the impact to the sugar level. But I know people don't attend those courses for whatever reason. What would be your um, encouragement to them if they get the offer from their GP or they've been referred? There's this course, they don't feel like going for whatever reason. What would you say to them?
I would say you're missing out. You're missing out on a key. I would stand on the mountaintops and preach
Yeah.
about how amazing these courses are,
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. And to be frank, so for example, in the UK, there is a law on a protected characteristic, which would include the nine or seven protected characteristics, which are included under what is that
The
law?
discrimination.
Yes. So as an employee, you have as an employer, sorry, the employee cannot refuse you to go on that course for whatever reason. They cannot. And that is where I would bring in like positive advocacy, where you're like, okay, this is like, you cannot refuse me to go for my hospital appointment to attend. You cannot refuse for me to attend or penalize me for attending the course, because some of them are a week long. But the information you get from them is invaluable. Like I don't know how long ago I did my Daphne course, but it continues. And when they update information, they also update you. So that meant that you would have to go in for additional classes. Sometimes they even just like check your knowledge. So you're always applying what you learned on the Daphne course
Mm.
widely
Mhm.
throughout your self care of your diabetes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so amazing because they were also at the conference last week, and yeah, they keep on track, they keep checking on you and things like that. And I feel even as you're saying it, as you're describing it, and oh, by the way, how much do you pay for it, Mercy?
Nothing.
You pay
Well,
nothing. So
no,
I use Fit.
it's not a direct cost because I pay my national insurance.
Mm-hmm,
It
mm-hmm.
helps to um, fund that.
Yeah.
So
But
it
like
is
like
paid for,
when
but
you're going,
indirectly.
yeah, when
Yeah.
you're going, you're not paying anything. And I
Yeah.
feel we really need to take advantage of these opportunities because I feel there are people, example in Kenya, would love such a course, but if it existed, it would be perhaps they'd have to pay for it. So we have
Yeah.
so much opportunities here and you learn so much. And I love what they're doing in that they'll update you as things update. So then you're not just working on what you were told 20 years ago, you're always up to date. So I
Mm.
think it's so important to take charge of these things and um, you'll be able to manage your condition better.
Mm.
And I know earlier you were saying also about there was a time where you were not eating well and maybe depression was linked to it. So I want us to talk about the mental health aspect of having type 1 diabetes and the trauma that comes with it. I know you had an example for us. Maybe what can
Oh,
you say on this side of things?
okay. So I like to give examples.
Mm-hmm.
So one example was, for example, I was asleep and I went, this was many years ago. I was asleep and when you're asleep, you're in a subconscious state. And I went into hypoglycemia, so a low sugar while I was sleeping. So I did not feel it coming on. Sometimes your body will wake you up for whatever reason. I slept through it. So what happened was my sister came and found me foaming in the mouth. And
Wow.
she thought, oh, okay. And the next thing I remember is that I was being woken up, but and surrounded by ambulance people. And then it happened again at over, I can't remember a duration of how long, but they were quite close together. So, I mean, maybe a year apart or months apart. I can't remember. Maybe my brain erased it.
Mhm.
But I remember waking up and there was a white guy with blue eyes asking me what the day and the time was. And I was thinking, I don't remember this arrangement. I, I,
You
I
didn't, you
don't
didn't give
remember.
consent. This is not consensual.
I don't remember getting into this arrangement, sir.
Yeah,
What are
yeah,
you doing? I know
yeah.
you're cute, but
Mm-hmm,
is this what heaven looks like?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was how that impacted me negatively was I would fear going to bed
Mm,
and I would wait until people were close to getting up so that I would sleep then. And I remember it was around about the same time I was doing A levels. So I failed my first ASs
mm,
as a result. I never told anybody,
mm,
but I think one of the nurses picked up that I wasn't okay and she signposted me for counseling.
mhm,
And I hate to think what happens to people who don't have healthcare professions who are genuinely interested in their
yeah,
well being.
mhm,
But I found that in my interactions, people have been very proactive
mhm,
in terms of signposting or advocating for me, or um, just genuinely being compassionate.
Mm.
And I did counseling for a little bit, but because it was very new to me, I perhaps didn't get the most out of that season.
Mm.
But later on, I had many opportunities
Okay.
to go back into counseling,
Mhm.
and were able to maybe articulate myself better. I was
Mhm.
young, I was
Mhm.
under 20, so
Mhm.
it's a tricky time. You've moved countries, you're trying to acclimatize, you're trying to acclimatize to the new environment, to the new system,
Mhm.
to your body too. You're still going through changes.
Mhm.
there's, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be quite exhausting. So that was one trauma. Another trauma was I had a low sugar while out clubbing,
Mhm.
and um, I fainted, and people thought I was drunk.
Mm.
So the luckily my boyfriend then was very proactive, and he was able to like rally people around and get me to the closest hospital. And I just remember waking up thinking, why am I on a drip?
Mhm.
So you start thinking the worst, and you think, oh, can I feel my legs? Can I feel my, things like that.
Mhm.
Um, and then after that, it was just like friends around me cracking jokes and things like that. So um, I'd say he was quick thinking and very proactive. So,
Mhm.
he's a good egg. We're
Yeah.
not together, but we're still good
He
friends.
did he did
He's,
he did the right thing
he
at
is
the
a
right
good
time.
egg.
Yeah.
Um, so I late many years after that,
Mhm.
then went for a course around drinking safely as a
Mhm.
diabetic, and
Mhm.
I thought, wow,
Mhm.
I this must have come from a need, perhaps,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
something that they saw,
Mhm.
and I thought this is very useful.
Mhm.
And so I won't give any advice because
It depends on the situation, the person, so
yes,
many things. Yeah.
yes, but there is a not a method. You can't drink safely as a diabetic. So it turns out I learned from the course that
Mhm.
when your liver can only do one function at a time.
Mhm.
So it has to make a decision
Mhm.
the, whether to detox your body
Mhm.
or to convert glycogen to glucose and dump it in your system so that you have like a backup for a low sugar.
Mhm.
So at that moment, I suppose it chose to detox the alcohol
Mhm.
over giving me the backup, measure of glucose that I needed
Yeah.
when going into a low sugar. So this is what I mean by um, being, let me say, receiving an education and learning how your body works so that you're better able to. Maybe I'm just a curious person. I don't know. But I find that those curiosities normally lead to beautiful destinations.
Yeah, so you're saying basically it's important to go for these courses. You learn about your body, you learn the mechanism. Like now, the liver will do one process over the other because it can't multitask.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to learn these things. Then you can, even when you're living your life, you
Mm,
know how to adjust and adapt yourself.
yeah. So it's the goes back to the informed decision.
Hmm.
You're making informed decisions on your body. You are informed in terms of, you know where you stand as of sugar levels,
Yeah.
and then you know, or are better aware of what is going on internally.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is, for example, if you had a low sugar in the night,
Mm.
it means that your your liver is depleted of the emergency measure that it has dumped in your system. That is why to use the analogy of a car, the lights are now going on and telling you,
Yeah.
hey, you need to pull up. So what happens then is that if you have another low sugar, so it takes your body, I think, 8 to 12 hours to replenish that measure of the backup in the liver.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is, if you have another low sugar during that period of time, it means that it is harder to bring it back up because you're now on almost like double compensation. So if you then put that in a work situation, diabetes does not clock in or clock out. So if I was babysitting my low sugar in the night, because you need to, it's important. You're advised to treat and ensure that you are at a safe level before going back to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So then throughout the day, how does that impact, the rest of the day? I am a lot more mindful that I'm not overexerting, or keeping an eye, or running my sugar levels a bit higher in order to work around what I think may happen. As I said, you're always thinking, what am I doing now? What did I do a little bit before? And what am I doing after?
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. So when it comes to taking care of your mental health,
Oh, yeah.
what do you feel is how do I put it? Or maybe you've said you had counseling before, and the maybe you first did it when you were still young. You weren't able to articulate yourself, but then you've had opportunities since then. So what else have you found, or yeah, what else have you found that has helped you to take care of your mental health, considering everything that comes with being type 1 diabetic, the constant thinking of what to do, which can be exhausting and all those things. So, and dealing with the traumas that have come with it. So, what works for you in taking care of your mental health?
Hmm, I would say is ask for help quickly.
Yeah.
Don't wait too long.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say, though it's a bad example, but I'll give it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the longer you stay on the train, the farther away you get from your destination, or
True.
from your, you know,
From you. Yeah.
your where you want it to be.
Yeah.
So I would, sometimes it can be hard because